Well, the city of Albuquerque is now very worried that the case of a Tasmanian devil that was brutally killed at the zoo is going cold.
Yeah, so why is the city holding back surveillance video that some say could be key evidence to finding Jasper's killer? A little less than a month ago, Jasper, the Tasmanian devil, was found dead in his exhibit, his skull cracked by a large piece of asphalt. Despite a reward fund with more than 10 grand in it and help from a private investigator, the case has not gotten far and leads are drying up fast.
We just don't want to see this case go cold.
Are you worried that it is going cold right now?
I think because of the time that's lapsed, it certainly is a concern.
Now, the original police report mentions two boys followed by a man caught on surveillance video walking away from the exhibit before closing time the day before Jasper was found dead. So why not release the tape and get the public's help tracking them down to see if they know anything? A source with knowledge of the investigation says APD and the city's legal team, they determined there's simply not enough evidence tying any of the three to the crime to put their pictures on TV. Santa Fe now has a new city ordinance that reduces the penalty for marijuana possession, but that's not stopping police from filing citations under state law. The city council voted for the ordinance back in August. The Santa Fe New Mexican reports that since then, 2 out of every 5 citations issued are for pot possession. They were issued under state law, which carries a heavier penalty. A spokeswoman for the department says that small amounts of pot possession continue to be a low priority for officers and that many of the recent citations were connected to traffic violations or something else. Time now is 5:33. Many are shocked and upset by what they call a lack of diversity on a board that's meant to represent Albuquerque and New Mexico.
Yeah, that board is also its job is to come up with more ideas on how to create jobs here. And some are wondering this morning if it's a panel of all white men. Do they know exactly what New Mexico really needs? News 13's Catherine Zone found out the city is taking notice and is not too happy about it. She's live at Central on Broadway. Good morning, Catherine.
Good morning, Matt. I'm standing by the group's headquarters behind me. Now, the city is set to spend millions of taxpayer dollars on Innovate ABQ, but now they're threatening to pull funding if changes aren't made fast.
Well, that's constructive criticism and point well taken, and we agree with them, and we have been in discussions with them. You know, the mayor's
That is Jack Fortner, the president of the Board of Regents for UNM. The Regents created the board made up of 6 white men for Innovate ABQ rather. He says the board members are qualified but agrees it lacks diversity. There are no Hispanics, women, or millennials on the board. Now that's supposed to represent the Duke City. Innovate ABQ, a joint effort between UNM, the city, and private businesses, is meant to come up with ideas to help create new businesses, grow existing ones, and attract more out-of-state companies. That translates into more jobs. Fortner says as for the board, there were already spots designated for groups that funded the program, like the mayor on behalf of the city. So that cut down on spots for other people in the community. Their solution now is to expand the board.
there's no Hispanics, there's no millennials, and I would say those are the 2 primary things. We certainly are diverse as far as backgrounds. But we also need to be diverse in the sense of what is New Mexico made of.
Now, Fortner says anyone can be on the board. He did mention real estate, business, and entrepreneurial backgrounds could be helpful. Back to you.
Thank you, Catherine. UNM Regents are already talking to candidates that they may add to the existing board. No word if the city is giving them a timeline to go ahead and fix those problems. Crystal.
New Mexico's Veterans Services Secretary, Timothy Hale is stepping down. Governor Susana Martinez made the announcement yesterday, and Hale says he's taking another job to be able to spend more time at home.
As our parents grow older, we become their caretakers, and they deserve the very best from their children, and that is what Tim will give them.
Martinez says Hale made life easier for men and women in the military coming back from overseas. The governor says that she's now appointing retired Brigadier General Jack Fox to replace him. General Fox has served in the Army and the New Mexico National Guard. And there could be help on the way for Vietnam veterans with less than honorable discharges. Secretary of Defense Chuck Hagel, who's also a Vietnam vet, says he's now ordering a review of files for vets with post-traumatic stress. That could have led to them getting a less than honorable discharge, and soon they could get the disability pay they never could get because of their discharge status.
I used to have nightmares when I came home, and it pretty much blocked out my mind.
He's glad the government is trying to do more.
I think it's great because, you know, we were drafted, we were forced to go.
In the past, Vietnam veterans have sued the federal government for their post-traumatic stress. Secretary Hagel has not said when the official change could come or how many veterans it could help.
Coming up on 537, we now know what candidates here in New Mexico spent in their run for public office, and it is not cheap. $13 million to be exact. According to a nonpartisan watchdog group, $6.2 million was spent on ads in the governor's race alone. Governor Susana Martinez spent $4.6 million to air nearly 10,000 ads for her re-election campaign. Of course, she won that. Democratic challenger Gary King aired just 1,200 ads, spending about $609,000. Taking a look at the U.S. Senate race, Democrat Tom Udall, who did win, spent $2.6 million, and Republican Alan Way spent $1.1 million. This does not include cable TV and radio ads. That's a lot of money.
That sure is.